We're live at the US in Progress at the American Film Festival in Poland. I'm speaking with Birney here for Obex. I noticed by chance that at another hotel, littered in the hotel lobby, there was like what I thought are floppy disks, and I think that's a great promo item. But then my question to you is, and maybe you can answer this, is why is it, if it's hard, why was it considered a floppy disk?
I know, because there was the bigger ones,
yes,
and those are floppy.
Yes, you could,
and yeah, but then maybe they just were called floppy, so then the smaller, harder ones became floppies as well. I don't know. Someone else brought that up earlier today, and I said, that's a good question.
We're both not in the know.
Yeah, I should. You know what? It's one of those things. I've looked it up in the past about what's a floppy disk and what's not, and I remember learning, but I didn't retain it, so I don't have a good answer.
My first question to you is, I get a sense that you're shooting all cylinders, meaning I get a sense that perhaps you take a story and then it's the story that dedicates the narrative format or the box that it goes in. So I'm thinking of your partnerships with Kentucker, I'm thinking about your short films, I'm thinking even animation and this film. Does the kernel of a story then inform you, say, hey, I want to paint a larger brushstroke, if you will, or have it a small container? Like, how does that work for you when you get the first kernel of an idea and say, okay, well, my dog and these insects deserve feature length, they need the profile. How does that sort of work itself out for you?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think like with this one, it was, the very first thing was the cicadas, and I'm just inspired by what's around me, and literally all around me were these bugs flying in the air, and I had remembered 17 years earlier when this had happened, and then I had remembered 17 years before that when this had happened, so there's like a 17-year cycle, and it's really a nice way to kind of like feel your life kind of progressing, where was I 17 years ago? I just graduated from college and, was kind of adrift.
That's a really interesting way to think about it. Wow.
But they were literally everywhere, and I just grabbed my camera and I started, filming them, not knowing what it was going to be, but like to me they were, it was like actors, they were free and they were just here, and I was like, might as well start putting my little macro lens on my really old camera and just filming them in the back alleyway behind my house and in the trash can and on the picnic table, and then I was recording the audio of them in the trees, and not having no idea what any of this was going to be.
So you're like in Richard Attenborough mode or something.
Like I should just capture this, because if I want this, it'll be another 17 years, so I might as well get this footage. And it's funny because Theo Anthony, who's a friend who made Rat Film,
yes.
He talks about the kernel of that film was he came home one night, like late, and there was a rat in a trash can in Baltimore behind his house, and he filmed it. And he's like, that's the beginning of Rat Film. And I'm like, for me, it was the cicada in the trash can. I was filming that. So it's like maybe something about being in Baltimore, you get inspired by what's in the trash can behind your house at night or something, I don't know. But yeah, so then I had this cicada footage, and it was in the trash can, and then, I went to a junk shop, and they had these old Mac computers, like 2 of them for $15. And I was like, I have to buy these. I don't know if they work. Doesn't matter if they work, but I bought those.
You have to buy them.
I have to buy them, just because they're so beautiful, and there's 2 of them, and they had all the wires and the keyboard. And so that kind of happened around the same time. So I got this footage of the cicadas, I got these old computers, and then I get a dog. All these things start to happen, and you just start, how can they all connect? And then, that was my alarm to wake up from my nap, but I've woken up. These things start to connect, and then before you know it, you're kind of off and running. And the feature versus short, I really just love feature films. Like shorts kind of happen by accident. Like it's like a quick thing and it just happened.
But this could have been 3 shorts.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I think, but like I love these computers and this cicada. Like I wanted to give them the proper vessel, and talking with Pete, who is inspirational how he makes films, where he's just kind of gets an idea and he finds 3 actors, and his film Jethica was inspired by an Airbnb listing he saw in New Mexico, you know, by this trailer. So it's like that's enough for him to start dreaming up a story, and then get these actors, and next thing you know, there's a film. And I was like, that would be really fun to try in Baltimore with these kind of ideas I'm having. And I started to talk with Pete, and he said, yeah, well, I'll come. And so that was it. And we shot for 5 days, and you know, had an outline. And
talk to me about so what's interesting at being at a festival like this is you get a sense that there's all these cliques, right? So you talked about Theo. Imagine you are in some residential area in Baltimore, Maryland. Like how does it feel to be part of that community? And like Pete is like, again, he's in creative overdrive. If he's not editing, he's cinematographer, producer, he's filming. It's like, how does it feel to have like a network where you can just bounce ideas off each other and sort of say, hey, let's get things going?
It feels great. And you know, being at a festival like this, I'm meeting new people, new friends, and you can instantly kind of tell who's maybe like on the same wavelength, or you have similar ideas, or you just like feel like you're on the same ride or something. But yeah, with someone like Pete, we met at Cucaloris in 2017.
Yes, great fest.
Yeah, and you know, instantly kind of hit it off, and we're like always bouncing ideas off each other and kind of sharing what we were working on. And it's just one of those things where when I was watching the film he had at Cucaloris that year was Everything Beautiful Is Far Away. And I didn't know Pete at the time, but I was watching it just thinking, whoever made this is probably like the same age as me, grew up watching the same shows I did, same cartoons, same video games. Like, it just felt like I know exactly who made this movie. And then meeting him, I was like, yes, you know, we are the same era. And so that, you know, it's also probably good to like make things with people that are different too, that makes incredible things, but it's maybe easier or just more fun, or just kind of always happens to be like the people that you connect with and then you make these things with. And you know, but yeah.
But there's also a sensibility, like, so he's a cinematographer here. I like static, I love static camera cinema sometimes, because it allows you to have a comedic beat that might work more just because the camera's still. And I really like the idea, like there's one, I don't want to give too much away because it's still a fragile project. I might not see the light or this aspect, but there's like this 3 television setup. I said, like, I figured that's like, Martin Scorsese probably has a setup like that in his home. So I wanted to get a sense of your cinephilia, your rapport with physical items. You said that you had to buy 2 Max. I imagine you have an extensive VHS collection that's you didn't do away with. So just, I wanted to get a sense of like your world and how the physical elements have a utmost importance in set decor, and then advancing into like more fantasy type landscapes, specifically for this.
Yeah, well, I definitely get inspired by objects, and Kentucker used to call me a prop artist, or a PA, which shortened to, but he's like, you're just a PA. But like when I was back making Vines, I would go to thrift stores and junk shops and just get, you know, there's 6-second videos, but you get a full idea just from some object, some old thing. So that's just still how I work. It's like, it's a very visual thing, you know, like some people can just maybe like, the ideas pop in their head. For me, a lot of them come from either objects or, you know, traveling and seeing places, or just people watching and stuff like that. But usually it's objects. So yeah, these computers, I see them, and then I just like, you know, it's like they're so beautiful that, you know, they remind me of when I was 5-6 years old, going to my friend's house and they just got a computer, and all of a sudden the world opens up in these games. And so I'm just trying to like to bring them back to life in a way, and kind of honor them, so they're not just in this junk shop kind of forgotten. And they don't work. I tried both of them. They don't really turn on. So we, you know, I took it apart, opened up, put an iPad in it, you know, and then that ended up working out, because then I can do anything on the computers. I can do things that they would never actually even be able to do in 1987. But yeah, you know, I don't know, like I do have some VHS tapes right now in the basement, but I go through periods of like, I don't need anything, you know, I need to like...
minimalism, and then you come back, it's like...
Yeah, because for Strawberry Mansion, Kentucky and I's movie, there's so many VHS tapes in that one too, and those at the time, Beyond Video, it's the Baltimore video store. We were getting all these donations, and we just had too many VHS tapes. You can't put them all out, and there's like doubles, and I was just kind of taking those boxes, and once we took out the things that were actually good, I put them in my car. So I just had like hundreds and hundreds of like, Apollo 13 and Braveheart and all these like,
There's a guy that collects Jerry Maguire.
Oh yeah, I've given him some. He came to Baltimore, and I was very,
wow.
Yeah, it was nice to...
Bless your heart.
Yeah, he's making a giant pyramid with them. It's the...
I don't know, but his
terrible.
goal, I think his goal is, I forget what, it's inconceivable, his goal, I think he wants to collect like...
It's incredible. It's beautiful. But then, yeah, so we got rid of all those VHS tapes after we were filming that, and then when this project came, I was like, oh, I wish I still had some. But then a friend had a new office at Johns Hopkins in the film department, and she had inherited a wall of them, and she was getting rid of those. So I said, I'm gonna take them all, It's like, and I still have those. I have a storage unit now, which is just VHS tapes, and I'm gonna have to get rid of it soon because they keep upping the price. But I know if I get rid of these tapes, I'm gonna need them again,
Yes, for some other thing. So you play Connor. I just wanted to get a sense of you're very at ease with filming yourself, putting yourself in front of the camera. Where does Connor come from in your membrane, your universe? Is there this is post-pandemic, and we all felt a sense of isolation, but this character is very at ease at being at home by himself or in the company of his dog. What's the fabric of this guy?
Yeah, someone else brought it up too. Like, he's at ease being kind of this like agoraphobe, and I think that's a lot of me probably. Where I'm okay to like not leave the house for a couple days. If I'm in the zone, if I'm doing stuff, it's like it's all right there. And then when I finally leave the house and see some friends, it's kind of like, oh yeah, there's a whole world out here. This is good too.
Yeah.
But
that's healthy.
Yeah, it's healthy. But I can really kind of just hunker down and be happy with that. And so Connor, I don't think is too far away from me, and especially once we got a dog in 2021, that kind of I think completed it for me. I always thought I was more of a cat person, and I didn't really want a dog, but then all of a sudden this dog kind of like, yeah, this is it.
It's your child.
It's my child.
Yeah.
And yeah, we can just sit on the sofa and we're good.
Just chill.
Yeah.
I was reminded of, I love the AHA video Take On Me.
Yeah.
And this sort of like, I always wanted to sojourn with the girl and the lead singer of AHA. This felt like AHA, that moment in AHA where they actually take me for the ride instead of just them two escaping. So I've only seen the essential the first act, if you will. So I imagine this has much more. The world that you explore has much more depth, or it's much more the meat of the bone later on in the narrative. I just want to get a sense of what that world feels like a little bit, because we only saw a small snippet of it.
Yeah, well, so I'm very inspired by video games, especially the video games I grew up with. Legend of Zelda. Which is
being made into a film, was announced this week.
See, I mean, once the Mario movie was so successful, you knew Zelda was going to be coming. Is it going to be live action or animated?
I believe it's live action. Okay. I believe so.
I mean, I'm gonna have to check that out. I'm gonna be there watching it. The one question I have is, Link doesn't talk in any of the games. Link's kind of like the silent hero that you control.
Yeah.
And are they going to honor that, or are they going to try to give a voice? I don't know. Maybe they could figure it out, but
maybe pop up.
Yeah, like a little speech bubble.
Yeah, speech bubble. Which
so I just inspired by like these action adventure role playing games, and I also made a video game a couple years ago, and making that also really inspired this movie. That game is Tux and Fanny. It's based after the animations that I do called Tux and Fanny. But to me, it's like they're all connected. These animations, the live action, the movies with Ken Tucker, it's all, you're kind of working through the same ideas.
Interesting.
But yeah, so the second half of Obex, you know, Obex is a video game that Connor plays, and it's not very good, but the game is like, it's like supposed to be interactive and, you know, puts you in the game.
Yeah.
And it's like at some point, he doesn't even realize it, but he's in the game, and then he has to go rescue his dog who gets kidnapped, and
and essentially all the best games from that era were all mission driven, right?
all mission driven.
Dragon's Lair was I mean, we couldn't really play it. I don't know if you played the arcade version.
I did.
But it
It's
was
so
the video.
frustrating.
Yeah, it was the video thing. You had to
push the button
at
and
the
you
right.
die every time.
No, exactly.
You would watch a demo and it looks so cool, and you're like, I never got to that part. Yeah.
Lost a lot of money on that one.
Yeah, we kept putting money in, didn't we? It was just like, I'm gonna.
Ghosts and Goblins, I could last for a while.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That was
that one.
crazy playable.
Yeah.
We made people wait.
Capcom. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the second half of the game, it's kind of just like me trying to make like a Zelda movie or something where Connor, all of a sudden, who never leaves his house, all of a sudden he's got a sword and a beard and a hat like Link, you know, and he's on a mission to save his dog, and he meets people along the way, and you know. And
Frank Mosley, who we don't see at the onset, would be an important figure in. Yeah. Okay. We won't give anything away there.
He pops up, and yeah, you still don't see him because he's wearing a mask.
Okay.
But his voice is there, and he's great. And
he's got a Daft Punk thing to his. So there's I had so much fun with this. So the cicada, there's an element where when you present the idea of the cicada, we're looking at old, like if you were a video game lover, I imagine that you love the TV box systems as much as I did. And so I couldn't tell whether you had made up the portions, like there's I don't want to give anything away, but there's like news type items that, and I wanted to know if you actually found that or if you created that, because honestly, it could pass the test for both.
That's cool. That's so cool to hear. If you were native to Baltimore, you would know that is this real newscaster.
Okay, great.
From the 80s, who got he had a show that Oprah was on. Before Oprah became Oprah, she was in Baltimore, and she's a newscaster. So there's a lot of footage from like, you know, 82, 83 with him and Oprah, and then she obviously becomes Oprah and leaves, but he keeps doing a thing. But so when I decided I wanted it to be like the cicada to be a part of it, you know, there's only certain years that there's like this huge thing. So it's like there was, you know, 2021. But I have this whole computer. So what's the time in the 80s? And it was 87. So then knowing that there was a cicada swarm in 87, I go to archive.org, one of my favorite websites, look at all your old video, and I type in, you know, cicada Baltimore 1987, just to see if anything pops up.
And it's a treasure trove.
And then, but it was like this one thing. And it was about eating cicadas, and it was this guy. And there's my other alarm.
That you must have flipped out when you saw that.
I was like,
it's so money.
I was
it's
like,
great.
this is the beginning of the movie, you know. And I don't know where it's going to go, but I know that Connor's going to watch this, and this is going to kind of help us get the story going, you know.
Love it.
Yeah, and I, you know, at some point maybe have to figure out how to clear that footage, or, you know, figure that out, but maybe we don't.
Yeah, let's like a big festival win or something.
Yeah.
Or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
So we're in Wroclaw, or it's spelled out Wroclaw. The finish line is close, and you've done this a number of times to know what the finish line looks like. And so right now they're doing like a Tinder-like service where you're trying to match with potential people. So I believe this would be the first time that you might work on a technical aspect with people that are outside the U.S. So how exciting is that? How exciting is it, or inspiring to see that, hey, there's like maybe different mindsets, and you know, the Polish people, they have their own sensibilities and sense of humor. It's very obscure, it's very noir.
Yeah.
And so on some level, I think it might actually be like a fun, creative matching for you. So how do you feel the perspectives for this?
Oh yeah, everything you said, it's so exciting to like all of a sudden be talking to these people who have these companies here in Poland.
And they're very excited about working on micro.
Yeah. Well, that's us. So, you know, I think, and a lot of the effects that we're looking for, it's like we've already shot like the base, the foundation. So we have like people in masks, and we have, you know, like some stop motion parts and this, and that's like really just needing the VFX to kind of like sweeten that and just like enhance what's already there, which I hope, you know, as you have these meetings today and you're talking about it, like I hope that came across, that like we're not asking people to do these huge asks where it's like building things from scratch. It's like very much have an idea of what we're looking for and want to like collab with these new people and figure out you know, ways that like they can bring some of their strengths and combine it with what we already have, and then create something that's just like very strange and
that adheres to like, there's a scrappy element to it in a way.
And you know, with Strawberry Mansion, we did this where we just did so many different types of effects, like stop motion and animation and CGI, and as many we could do ourselves. And then we had friends doing this one, and then we were this school was doing some in California. And I just love all the different styles, but then what we did was we put it onto 16mm film at the end, and that kind of just makes it all unified. And want to do that again with this one. It's black and white, like I'm excited to see what that's going to look like when we put that onto film, do some like tests. But yeah, just like this mishmash collage of these different effects and different styles kind of, you know, and it's like, it's a fantasy movie, it's an adventure, so I think it's a video game too, you know, so I think all these things will work, or just kind of like... Yeah,
it opens it up. Instead of, it makes it more broad, perhaps. There's not limitless possibilities, but I imagine just giving it to somebody and seeing how another person might approach it, just there, it's like...
Yeah, I'm very excited to see, you know, hopefully that can happen.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, it's a pleasure meeting you, and congratulations for getting here, but also... have fun with 2024 and its eventual release, and getting it out there.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Reminding us what the floppy disks look like, but we still don't know why.
Right.
But we'll find out.
In 2024, we're going to figure out why they're floppy. Yeah.
Knock on wood.
Yeah.
Thank you, Albert.
Okay.
Appreciate
thanks,
it.
Eric. Yeah.
Hey, this is Eric from IONCINEMA.com. If you want to support us, subscribe below. For more reviews, interviews, film festival coverage from Sundance, Cannes, Toronto, you want to check out these guys on this side.